Today I want to discuss one of the spells I consider slept on, and that spell is Silent Image. Silent Image has use cases in all three elements of play in D&D. We have combat utility, we have exploration utility, and especially social utility. Now, one of the biggest use cases in combat is going to be creating concealment before the combat even starts. People often talk about using a fog cloud, which, depending on your DM, they may love it, they may hate it. I think raw as written, it makes sense to use, but they'll quickly figure out that it is an illusion. So I think some DMs are going to really strongly limit it, but however, you can create a door that is open and you just make it look shut and your team just stands on the other side of it as someone's walking towards it. Boom, big round of surprise. You can create a whole bunch of rounds of surprise using this, quite similar to Pass Without Trace. That if you have a setup moment, you can really use this to your advantage. Other use cases include creating a wall or a barrel or some sort of concealment for an ally so that your team can disengage freely, because in order to make an opportunity attack, you have to be able to see your enemy. So I'm standing 5 feet away from an enemy and my ally puts up an illusion right here. We no longer see each other and I can disengage for free. So you can do interesting use cases such as that. Now, when it comes to exploration, I really like it for infiltration. And I think a really underlooked one is, let's say you need to pick the lock to a door, or your team does. You can just put an illusion of that door around the area, and so your team can stand within the illusion and it looks like the door is just sitting there, as it always has. Open it up and everything, and it just looks like it's closed from anyone who's outside of that 15-foot range. But it can also be used to do all sorts of other things. If you want to leave a false trail of footprints, for example. If you want to hide from guards who have spotted you, that's another thing you can do with it. Create distractions is another big one you can do with it. All sorts of things can be used with this. And it is worth mentioning that there's some neat things you can do when you combine Minor Illusion and Silent Image. Minor Illusion to create some sort of noise, because that's what Silent Image lacks. Now, I would keep this pretty simple, because Minor Illusion, you cast it once and the sound has to kind of just be coded into it right from the get-go, and then you have to match up your Silent Image from there. But if you do it right, it's pretty close to having Greater Image as a spell that you're casting. That's casting a pretty high level spell for pretty low resources, so something to consider. Now, of course, when it comes to social, this can really shine. Creating distractions, showing people images of maps or of things that you've seen is another easy use case. Showing them things that might touch on their emotions, a lost loved one. You can do all sorts of things to really bring it to life. This spell is only as bad as your creativity. It can be used in almost any situation to some benefit. Sure, there are going to be other things you can do that are probably better in a lot of situations, but you can use Silent Image in basically any situation and expect to get something out of it. That's why I think it's one of the most slept on spells. Now, what I want to hear from you guys, because we can take a feat and get Silent Image as a cantrip, I want some really unusual builds that rely and can capitalize on Silent Image. So take that and do what you can with it. If you want to support the channel and get some really sick benefits at the same time, check out our Patreon. But other than that, my friends, I hope you have yourselves an incredible day, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later, bye.